Hey everybody, welcome to Biz Chicks TV. This is the place to be for tips, tools, and strategies to help you build a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And one of the things that we always need to be mindful of is our health. And so today and every Thursday, we have Robin Shimizu who comes in and talks to us about happy, healthy habits. She and her guests always lend something to us that will help us to keep profitable because without our health, our wealth will be impacted. So, without further ado, here's Robin Shimizu and her guest today, Yana.
Hello, everybody. Good morning, and thank you for joining us live, and thank you for joining us on the replay. So happy to be here, and we have a new guest with us today. Her name is Yana. Yvonne Evans is our guest who does healing through art. And I'm going to do a little tiny introduction in this and then ask Yana to expand a little bit more about her background and how she got going in this endeavor. Um, so Yana helps people heal through art, and I'm going to just read a little bit from her bio. She has taken training and is gone through a program called Color of Women, taught by Shiloh Sophia of Musea. Is that how you say that, Yana?
Musea, correct,
Musea.
Musea.
And she has now transformed herself into an artist, although she's been an artist all her life. You know how that goes. Sometimes we just have to get there, on our own. And through her program, through the Color of Women course, she's become a certified intentional creativity teacher, which allows her to teach her clients how to take a journey of self exploration, bringing internal life issues to the external through drawing and painting and journaling and even through some movement. So her beliefs are that art is healing and that art is for everyone and everyone is creative in their own unique way. And so with that, I'm introducing Yana to us and our new guest, and hopefully she'll be back with us in the future, teaching us how to heal ourselves through art.
Oh,
Welcome, Yana.
thank you for having me, Robin. Oh, I would love to come back and do some exercises with you and your guests. We'll, see how this goes today.
Okay, great.
But
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
sure. Um, I kind of want to go back to the beginning to how I even got into this because a lot of people who know me are really surprised to find out you're an artist. Because when I was young, I always did art. I was always creative. And I've done everything from drawing cartoons to my mother taught me how to sew. My grandmother taught me how to crochet. I did all kinds of arts and crafts. I loved it. And so you would think that would be something I would go into, but I wanted to be actually a fashion designer. However, my father was like, no, I'm not paying for that. That's a waste of time. So, in a sense, my family wasn't really supportive of the arts. And so, the best way for me to combat that was to go to a liberal arts college. In the meantime, in school, I was studying math and science. So they do marry very well together, but at the time I did not see that marriage, but I kept them separate. I would always do some type of art. Luckily, going to a liberal arts college, I didn't have to just work focus on my major. So I took art history classes, I took African art making, Cuban dance, Afro-Cuban dance, just all kinds of things that were artistic that fulfilled my soul
Mm.
while I got my degree in mathematics, applied mathematics. So it was a good combination. Excuse me. Uh, but I've pretty much worked in the field of education. I've had many different jobs, but the majority of the time of my working career has been in education. I was a high school math teacher in the Sacramento area. And I also worked 20 years with the California Department of Education where I've done various work for various departments with the department, and from after school, math and science, and juvenile court and community schools. With all that experience, I learned a lot. And I could see where art could fit into all those spaces too. And I've seen it fit into those spaces. But still, I never came out as an artist until maybe the last couple of years. I joined a program here in Sacramento called Women's Wisdom Art, where I could just practice my art skills. And they're a great organization. I even got to the point of being on the board. I'm now an advisor of the group. And they've done, maybe if we have time, I'll talk about some phenomenal things, projects they have. And anybody could go, it's Women's Wisdom Art, I want to say .com or .org. I can't remember right now, but anybody, they have online classes. Now they are opening up to in-person classes. It's a great organization. That's where I was fine-tuning some of my skills without having to go to school. So I'm not a trained artist. I didn't go to a school to become an artist. A lot of it's on my own and taking classes, whether it be community college, Women's Wisdom, other organizations. Also with Shiloh Sophia with Musea, that's where I've really honed into a lot of my skills. Their teacher certification class is a 9-month program, which for me, it took me a little over a year because I got COVID. I was retiring. There were a lot of other things that took place. So I took a little longer time, but I am officially a certified teacher. So I'm excited about that. What I can say about what I do, I've been able to do some trainings even before going through intentional creativity. I've done classes here and there. I've worked with an organization called California Black Women's Health Project. And this is where the health part comes in. They focused on women, especially Black women, and their mental health, their mental wellness. And I became an advocate with that program. They had a special program called Sisters Mentally Mobilized. And I was selected to be advocate for that program. And this is what my way. There are other people who do things such as maternal care, other activities, but my specialty was art and mental health. And so this organization got me started and allowed me to have an audience. Through them, I had an audience to do some of the workshops. The workshop started, COVID hit, and that's when I think my first workshop was around that time. Or maybe I think the 2021, not 2020, but 2021. And I gave a workshop which had to do with art for the weary soul. And that was based off of the third stanza of the Negro National Anthem. It talks about the weary years. And we get weary, especially with COVID that has happened, racial injustice, just the things, especially Black women go through. And I just felt like this is a time we just express ourselves with art as a healing tool. And that went very well. And I've done other workshops, mainly groups. I do individual also coaching one-on-one, but more popularly has been the workshops. The last one I did was in June. I did 3 workshops with a partner, and it was called Journey to a New You. And this was sponsored by an organization, which is also part of the California Black Women's Health Project. It's another subgroup called Sisters Aging with Grace and Elegance. I do tend to focus working with older, seasoned, mature adult women. I worked with kids for so long. And I just see sometimes women, as we get older, we're just kind of tossed aside. We're not focused upon. The media doesn't look at us in any specific way, especially not any glorifying way. So I really focus more with seasoned, mature women with the art, because so many of us, like myself, they suppressed their creativity. Mm-hmm. And one of the quotes that Shiloh Sophia has said, which I just love, she says, when what we want to do is rescue creativity from the tyranny of the talented. We always think you have to be super talented. Isn't that beautiful? You don't have to be super talented. When I come up, people say, "Oh, you want to join my class?" Or, "Oh," the first thing you hear, they all say it. "I can't even draw a stick figure." That's okay. It's not about drawing. It's about expressing yourself.
Mhm.
As you see behind me is a picture. This is like 8 layers. And I do a layering process. I have about 5 more layers to go. So it will not even look like this. This is a work in progress. Yes, Robin.
So I'm going to interrupt you because I'm curious as to what your workshops. So what do you offer people, and what do your workshops? How does that help people, and how can we get the word out about what you do? Because this community, the BizChicks community, is got so many talented, smart women that are already doing a lot of mental health. And
Mhm.
we've got psychologists, we've got clinical psychologists, we've got people that do mindfulness,
Uh-huh.
things like that. I can see so many connections between you and the BizChicks community. There's so many people out there that need to know that you offer this. So tell us a little bit more about your workshops.
Sure. The workshops deal with well, there's all day workshops.
Hmm.
Then there are workshops that are like maybe 2 hours or so. But what we do, it depends on the topic. And a lot of times I pick out different topics, what's going on, what are women dealing with. Um, so I had one, Journey to a New You, and we talked about our queendom, our territory of that. Just what can we do? How can we expand ourselves? And how do workshops work? Well, that particular workshop was funded, and so it was free for the guests. But normally, I will charge a fee.
Hmm.
And that one was also at a senior community center, which was great. They had a great environment, and it was a perfect workshop. A lot of my workshops will probably be virtual.
Hmm.
It's a little bit easier, and then I can get more women to be involved. So
Hmm.
the numbers can be quite quite large virtually. And because I will tell you, lugging around the easels, the paints, I'm getting older now, and it's like I would need a team. Basically, I need a team when I do in-person workshops. But those will happen periodically. But I think more often you'll get the virtual workshops, and we'll pick a topic. There's one I have on, you know. Your medicine basket. That's what I'm going to do pretty soon. And we talk about what are the gifts that you have to offer the world, and just make you think about it. And then we draw with that, because drawing and painting, that's right brained work. A lot of times, probably a lot of your business women, they're using that left brain to strategize, to organize, to structure. So sometimes we get caught up on that left side, and we need to get that right side in to add the more creativity, the imagination, the intentions. That helps. You mentioned mindfulness. I also been trained in mindfulness. So working with students, I've done mindfulness with teachers and students. So yes, a lot of mindfulness is in this. We meditate when we do this. We bless our canvas or our paper when we start off. We write an intention, like this painting. This painting behind me.
Hmm.
Underneath all the layers is my intention. I wrote something, but you don't see it. And another thing I do, especially with my classes, I have them take pictures of each phase we go through, and they can see the progression of their painting. Um, I think one of the pictures you have is a class I did in November, which was had to do with transformation. And I told them I had just retired, and so that was my transformation. And everybody had a different type of transformation. Go ahead, Robin. You're going to
I
say
was
something.
going to ask if you wanted Francine to try to put that up so people could see your art.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, Francine in the background, I'm wondering if you could show the images. Yay.
Okay. This is one. this was one of mine that I call visionary. This was part of the class, my certification. And it started off with one side. The left side was very angled. I had more squares and sharp angles. I think you can see that on the left side, that was more like that. And then on the right side, you saw more curves and, that allowed for more creativity. And then we kind of joined them together. So there's a lot of symbolism. So that's why I say you don't have to know how to draw. If you can just make a mark on a paper, that's good enough. Faces, I will teach you how to draw faces, and that takes time. You don't have to do, your face doesn't have to be perfect. I call that our muse. That's our muse that comes out. Like the muse behind me, she's not done yet, but she's emerging. And this is what we learned. So with the women in November, when I worked with them, they showed their transformation. I was retiring. Somebody else wanted to, their body is transforming. As we get older, things don't work the same. And that's something we have to deal with and maybe live with. So, those are different things that we go through. And mainly it was older women. Well, that was a mixed group. I will say that was a mixed group. I had women as young as their maybe late 30s up to, I had a 91-year-old in there.
Wow.
Her daughters came and brought her. And it was such a beautiful event. We had, they just really liked it and they had a good time. And the one thing I will say where I'm different than maybe a lot of people have been doing paint and sips. Those are fun. I don't knock that. Those are great. But with the paint and sip, you have a specific picture everybody's going to draw. With me, yes, I don't give you a specific picture. We take you through a journey. And everybody's going to come out different. Like I'm the guide, and a lot of it may look similar to mine, but after a while, they'll start branching off on their own. They'll do something a little different. And that's what's encouraged. I don't want you to copy me. I want you to just express yourself the way you feel you want to be expressed. And you will see that I think if there's another picture that has the women with their picture, you'll notice they're all different. Yes. And you see,
isn't that beautiful?
And they were so proud of their pictures. Some people had no art experience. And it's not about art, it's about creativity. And I believe all people are creative.
It's kind of like visioning through art. It's sort of, you're uncovering layers and you're expressing yourself and you're healing as you do it. So and you're the guide.
I'm just a guide. I'm not your teacher. I will come around, so can you help me do this? Like, okay, try this. I'll give, hints on how to do things, but I don't necessarily want them to copy exactly what I've done. And I don't give a template, so it's like, nope, you're going to do your thing. And people who have never painted or drawn before, they are amazed at what comes out for themselves. It's like, I like this. And, the thing about this process, it's the process. It's not the product. The product is, okay, it's nice. Sometimes I don't like the product I come out with, but going through the process released some things for me. Maybe think about my marriage or, so there may be certain things going on with me and it makes me bring those things out and I feel better about it. It's just allowing me to express in another way. And another thing that's good, we also journal while we paint. So there are times, so you're able to write down whatever your thoughts are right at this point in time. What's going on with you? You were going to say something, Robin. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I was just going to make a comment that it just sounds like a wonderful journey that you take your clients through. And the healing, and I could see how that would be. We have a journaling coach that's part of Biz Chicks.
Okay. Yes.
We have a lot of talented women that have so much to offer, our audiences. And this is your art creativity is a new one for us. So we're very excited that we have one more thing in our bag of tricks to offer people. What do you have coming up, and how would you like people to get in contact with you, and What would you like to tell the audience more about how they can reach you and participate in your classes?
Okay, well, I will say my website is in development. My website designer is, I think she's going out of town. It's like, not now, but she's going. But I do have a website people can go to. It shows the previous class, but it will be updated. And you can go to soulfulartwithyana.com.
So is it with spelt out with WITH?
Correct. Yes.
Soulful Art with Yana.com. Okay, we'll put that in the chat. There,
That's
Francine's already done it.
Thank you, Francine. I have an Instagram. I'm sorry. Technology is. I'm on the canvas. The the technology I'm still working with. I do have an Instagram, and it's Yana G, and it's the H is not on Yana right there. Yana YANNA GEE 82. Thank you. Yes. I haven't done a lot with that, but I realized, okay, it's time to get more into the Instagram. I'm coming to the 21st century.
Well, this just can help you with that.
That would be great.
Yes.
So, and then also Musea, which I'm a part of, they have a guild, which as a graduate, I have access to, and they are phenomenal. And they also have assistance for things like that as well. But Robin, before we go anything, I want to show just a quick activity anybody can do at any time.
Oh, yes.
Is that possible?
Yes. Yeah,
okay.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm going to go to switch to my webcam, and let's see. Okay, it'll pop on in just a second, I think. Oops, hold on. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I usually do, this can be something you do in the morning when you get up. I wrote, and this is something very general. My intention or my question or my inquiry is, how can I experience more joy in my life? So what I do, this activity is called Metacognitive Drawing. And so what I do is I allow myself a few seconds. I will say 30 seconds, and actually I will set my timer. And I just take my pen and just start moving. Let me use the other end so you can see it better. And I'm not thinking, the only thing I'm thinking about is the question, how can I bring more joy to my life? I don't care what the mark is doing. I'm just moving the pen around and just scribbling. Okay, and I'm going to stop right there because I have my clock on 30 minutes instead of 30 seconds. So sorry.
Now, do you have your eyes closed while you're doing that?
That's a good question. My eyes were, well, actually, I was looking at the screen, but I was moving my hand over here. So I do it many different ways. I do it with 2 different color pens at one time. I may close my eyes and do it. I may use my non-dominant hand different times. So sometimes I'll look at this. Do I see any shapes in here that I want to recognize? I can do that and say, oh, I can make this. So like right here kind of looks like a flower. I can expand on that. But the other thing I do is I start answering the question. I go back to the question, how can I experience more joy in my life? So for me, do more painting. So I start writing my answers in this scribble. And then also, if I can't think of anything, I start coloring inside of it. I look at this as a mosaic, or I can find patterns in here, and it allows your left and right brain to work together. So metacognitive drawing means thinking about thinking while you're drawing. So for me, more experience traveling, that's something else I would like to do. And I suggest having more than just a black or blue pen, have colors by you, have color crayons, color pencils, markers. Color makes your eyes, makes things more exciting to the eye and actually to the soul. um, More joy in my life. Meet new people. You can't see that too well because I used orange. Or I could say conduct classes. So there's no specific way how you do this. This is just something that's real fun, and it just allows you to, instead of doing a list, we're so used to people, here's my to-do list, here's my goals, and all this. This is another way of doing it that's more creative.
Mhm.
And anybody can do this. This is not impossible. And then, as I said, I will color in sometimes some of the areas and just make it more colorful. It almost looks like a mosaic, and that's what I do with people. That's how I start many of my classes. Is
Very,
doing a metacognitive drawing.
I love it. And so that's what we would get on Zoom. We would be able to we would be walked through a process that will help us uncover your joys. And
Right, that's one. And as we can make it any topic, any question, an intention, an affirmation. And that's something else I do. I do affirmation cards. I help people create their own affirmation cards. More so than going to a store and buying them, create your own. It has a lot more meaning.
that is, you have a lot to offer. And so what's going on in the future for us if we wanted to join you in a workshop, or how would we do that?
Well, I am looking at September. September, I want to do a class about being the creative soul, and I'm still working on that. It's going to be called the Creative Soul, because, and it will start with the book of Genesis 1, and we start with the great creator. So that's how, and I make it so it's not just for any particular belief system. Anybody can do this. It's just that's a foundation I'm going to use. I tend to use more of a Hebraic position or belief system, and that's just for me, but I keep it for everyone to be able to be a part of it.
And so how would people get a hold of you to take that class with you in September?
They I believe with soulful art with Yana, that is a funnel. So if they say they're interested, even if they put their name, I will get their name and be able to send them information further.
Okay.
I would say I got to create a new Gmail. I got to create another Gmail. I would give my Gmail, but it gets lost. There's so much junk that comes through there. And if somebody sent something, I would hate to lose it. So, but I will say, if you had to get in contact with me, there is enough, the word enough, the number 2,
Yeah.
BEME at gmail.com.
Yes. Enough
to be
me at gmail.com.
So, and if you put in the subject line, if you put soulful art or something, soulful art with Yana, that will attract my attention.
Okay.
That will be very helpful. So I'm glad I'm able to show you something. This is so helpful for our mental capacity. Art, people don't realize art is very healing. Just going to a museum and looking at art, just or any place, looking at nature and seeing the art in nature. It's very healing. It's therapeutic. And just to let you know, I am not an art therapist. I am not an art therapist because that's a whole another thing. But I am a intentional creativity guide and creativity coach.
Okay.
And so if anybody's interested in coaching, they can also contact me at Enough to Be Me or Soulful Art with Yana.
Thank you so much, Yana.
It was
yes, and we'll have you come back, and maybe we can do a short demonstration and walk us through a process, a little
That would
short
be so much fun. That would be so much fun. Yes.
That sounds great. Well, next, I'm going to, is there any last words that you would like to tell the audience before we sign off, Johnny?
Well, I just want to say that everybody's creative. Do not be shy. I would love to have you participate in my classes. As soon as I get that website up for September's class, I will probably do a class a month. And I've also thought about doing um, the Artist's Way. I don't know. A lot of people have gone through the Artist's Way. It's like it's about a 12-week process. It's from a book by Julia Cameron, and it's a wonder. I've gone through the class before, and it's a great class to go through. And I would love to be a guide for that too. But yes, I'm going to get things up. Please contact me in any of those ways you can, and I look forward to hearing from everyone.
Well, it sounds like you are a busy woman after retirement. Good for
And that
you.
works. Thank
Good for
you.
you. And thank you so much for sharing all of your wisdom with our guests today. Next week, we have Linus Woods Mullins, who's going to be our guest. We haven't seen Linus in a few weeks, so that'll be fun. She always has some great tips and tools for us to use in keeping ourselves healthy. She works with women over the age of 40, and she's a wellness coach. So with that, I think I'm going to end the show and invite people back for tomorrow's show, which is our Tech Friday show. And Francine's putting, she's helping me. We would love for you to join the Biz Chicks community by texting biz to 33777. And with that, you get these proactive text messages from the Biz Chicks notifying you of workshops and things that are going on with the community. So join us by texting biz to 33777. Join us tomorrow for our tech day. We have, I'm sorry, Francine, you're going to have to help me with this, but we have a tech day on Fridays where they break it down to those of us that are not techs. And it's a very, very helpful day for us on Fridays to learn about how to get tech. So thank you so much for joining us, and come in tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock for our tech day. And I think that's it. So we'll go ahead and, Tachi, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
We'll go ahead and